Kayo Ngalilu, Shalavanangala, Kamandalahi Samithi. Hello, loves, it's yours truly, Zazira Cordovano, and I give you a warm welcome to the Kingdom of Thala, the Kingdom of Atlantis. Today, I'm going to teach something important concerning Atlantean culture, which is the name. We all have heard about Atlantis, believing that it is a story that began with the Greeks, which is not true from Plato's own writings, but that the story of Atlantis was passed down to the Greeks from the Egyptians, and to the Egyptians from the North African nomads, who are descendants of the Atlanteans migrating from the west, from the Atlas Mountains. I will talk about that in later videos, but what many have not thought of or considered is, what does the name Atlantis mean, indigenously speaking? What did the Atlanteans themselves call themselves? This channel is dedicated to teaching you authentic Atlantean culture, heritage, spirituality, and language, and today I'm going to teach you not only what Atlantis means, but the origin of the name based on my spiritual dreams from Mother. First things first, before I begin to teach you about Atlantean culture, I feel it would be wise for you to know what Atlantis even means in the first place, and where the name came from. How or why were these ancient people called Atlanteans, mainly by foreigners? When we speak about the Atlanteans, we hardly ever wonder or talk about the word Atlantis itself and what it means. Names are important, especially names that certain cultures use to describe themselves. So, before we go any further, I'm going to reveal to you what the mother of Atlantis, the goddess of the Atlanteans, has taught me about the true origin of her children's name. As mentioned before, the true indigenous name of the Atlanteans, according to the mother of Atlantis, was Thala. Thala. That is the ethnic name for the indigenous Atlantean peoples who used to live in Northwest Africa, or antediluvian Northwest Africa. They were ethnically known as the Thala people, and their civilization was called Thalanthia. Thalanthia. Even earlier, it was called Thalampia. Thalampia. Throughout the ages, as their language evolved, so did the name. Thus, according to a spiritual dream given to me by Mother, the evolution of the name of the Atlanteans from the most primordial name to how they are known today. It began as Thalampia, and then it became Thalanthia, then it became Talantia, then later Atalantia, and then later Atlantis, or Atlantis, by New World civilizations. Thus, millennia later, via the Egyptians and their tongue, and later the Greeks, these ancient people became known as the Atlanteans and their civilization Atlantis. But truly they were the Thala people of Thalanthia. In the English tongue, the ethnic name Thala would be Atalan. Now, what does Thala mean? Thalanthia, which came to be known as Atlantis. What does it mean? One must understand the linguistics of the Atlantean or Thala language, and thanks to this ancient spirit who was worshipped by the Atlanteans, she taught me their language, my language. Atlantean was a Yavaic language. The Yavaic languages were old world languages that were natively spoken across ancient North Africa from circa 300,000 BC until the extinction, or their extinction, circa 10,000 BC. And the primary characteristics of Yavaic languages were that they were built on root syllables and not necessarily words. I put the negative sign before 300,000 because the language evolved from Azani, which was spoken as far back as 2.5 million years ago in southern Africa. And I will talk more about the Azani people, or the ancestors of the Atlanteans, in a later video. Azaya is the Atlantean name for the continent of Africa, named after the Azayan civilization and race who lived in the heart of Africa. The ancestors of the Atlanteans, according to their traditions. Azaya was the first civilization in Africa, and perhaps of all modern humankind, and I emphasize modern, that was founded 2.5 million years ago, and this is where the Atlanteans trace their ancestral origins. The Azani were called the pure humans, who stood 8 feet tall on average, believing that the modern human is a mixed breed race between the hominid Azani and the hominid Nuank race. I will go over that in later videos, but for now I'm just going to focus on the name of Atlantis, okay, loves? Every syllable in Yavaic languages had a spiritual or root meaning, and these syllables were combined either through thought or through tongues, and thus became a word. There are no words per se in Yavaic languages, but simply tongues, as one concept or object can have multiple different ways of saying or describing it. The meaning of a syllable or word could change based on stress, tone, and more. Modern Atlantean did not give rise to all the modern languages, per se, as some believe, but it did influence languages, but Atlantean was its own language in its own family and not related at all to any language spoken today. Atlantean was not just one language. The goddess taught me it was a language continuum, notorious for its synonyms, having many words for the same thing. There were 12 recognized distinct Atlantean languages spoken in the Yavaic family, and each of these languages had hundreds to thousands of dialects. Now, knowing the meaning of Atlantean syllables, we can dissect any Atlantean word, even those we do not know, and learn the meaning thereof. So, we will begin with the ethnic name of the Atlanteans, which is Thala. Tha means intimacy, comfort, and light. La means sister, woman, light, song. Thala means mother's light, intimacy, and comfort plus woman usually is considered as mother. This leaves light and song. Essentially, the Thala, the Atlanteans, were the children of the light, children of the song, the croon of the mother to her children. This is what they call themselves, children of the light. The meaning of Thala in their language, the light in this word meaning woman, great mother. Now, Thalanthia, Atlantis, the name of their civilization means the same, but has an extended meaning. You have additional syllables in the word Thalanthia. You have Na, which means phoenix or rebirth. You have Thi, which means love, spiritual. And then you have A, which means love, divine. So, while Thala means mother's light and or children of the light, Thalanthia has a similar meaning to Animala, the name of the island. Yes, the name of the island that used to be in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean is called Animala. And I will speak more about the island in later videos. Thalanthia, the native name for Atlantis, means motherland, land of the mother, goddess, and or the land of divine love. Thalanthia is in reference to a land, originally Northwest Africa and Micronesia. The syllable Na means rebirth, to give light, a land that gives birth or brings forth life in a motherland, the motherland of the Atlanteans, the Thala people. This is how throughout the generations they became known as the illuminated or ascendant ones, as they lived up to their name. So Thalanthia, Atlantis, truly means the motherland of the children of the light. Light can also mean awakened, ascendant, wisdom, intelligence. This is what Atlantis truly means, tracing it back to their ancient tongue. Throughout the millennia, they became known as Atlantia, or simply Atalan, and linguistically, the foreign generations millennia later called the Thala civilization Atlantis, or Atlantis, or sometimes spelled Atlantis, Atlantes. Atlantis is the Greek, English, or foreign name in general of the civilization of the Thala people, Thalanthia, the true native name. And going back further to primordial Atlantis, the primitive days, Atlantis, it was called Thalampia. P and H, when they are together, are pronounced as individual sounds in the language, not like F, as in the English word phenomenon. In the Atlantean language, Pa means freedom, He means spirit. So the primitive Atlanteans from before 300,000 BC to 200,000 BC originally called their people their land, the land of freedom, liberty, the land of the free. This is how important language is and how we can truly understand who the Atlanteans were from a realistic point of view and why they call their land freedom. It goes deeper into Yavaian or Atlantean spirituality and heritage, dealing with their origins concerning a legendary war in or during the time of Orion. And I will speak more about the Orion War as well in later videos. So, based on this knowledge I received from this ancient spirit or mother, Atlantis truly means land of freedom, land of ascension, motherland, and children of the light. If you like this content and you want to know more about authentic Atlantean culture, heritage, spirituality, and language, please consider subscribing to Thala Nation, dedicated to all things Atlantis. It was yours truly, Zaza Kurvana, Kamadalahi Samithi, and as always, may Atlantis rise again.